Another vision. The Force is guiding us, helping us retrace the steps of Malak and his old master, leading us ever closer to the Star Forge. It is strange that anyone would have built a star map here. The entire surface of Manaan is covered by nothing but vast oceans. The ocean floor is vast, and much of it is uncharted, even by the native Selkath. But how could Revan and Malak have found their way down? No doubt things will become more clear once we discover the star map's location.
Yes, what's on your mind? I already told you, he betrayed us all. Well, there is more to it. I'm sure you don't want to hear about it. It's just that I don't talk about it very much, okay? I told you about my homeworld, Telos. 4 years ago, Saul led the Sith fleet there and demanded its surrender. The planet refused, and Saul proceeded to devastate its entire surface. Millions died. I had a wife and a son on Telos. I thought they would be safe there, but my task force arrived too late to be of much help. We didn't have enough medical supplies. The colony was burning and the dying were everywhere. I remember holding my wife and screaming for the medics, but they didn't come in time. Of course not, how could you? I had nothing left after that, really. I devoted myself to the fleet. Hunting Saul was my only purpose. I miss them. And I know killing Saul won't bring them back. And it won't make me happy again, but I have to do it. I don't expect you to understand, but I have to pay him back for what he's done. I have to. It's all I have left. Oh, it's all right, I don't mind. You deserve some kind of, explanation. His name was Dustil, and I don't know what happened to him. The colony was a complete ruin, and we never found any trace of him. I made inquiries and followed the reports from Telos for years, but I stopped. Anyway, I hope that answers your questions. Let's continue with what we were doing. Yes, what's on your mind? Manaan's a neutral world. They're the only source of Kolto, the healing fluid, and they use that to remain free from both the Republic and the Sith. Well, that's all I can think of, at any rate. You got it.
How can I help? Sorry. I'm just thinking about my mother. It's strange to hear news after all this time. It's quite distracting. Should we have the opportunity, I would like to find her on Tatooine. There's only one small colony there. It should not be difficult. It's not that I look forward to seeing her. I just can't help but wonder what she wants. But perhaps we have better things to do.
How may I be of assistance? What is...
Got something on your mind, do you? You got yourself a fast little ship? I'd forgotten what engine sounded like. The closest thing to that on Kashyyyk is an uller in mating season. Ugh, frightful. Or it could be for the free food. What's the gunk that comes out of the synthesizer on this bucket anyway? Do you never clean the darn thing? I'm old, damn it. I'm allowed to be enigmatic when I want to be. And don't you go telling me otherwise. You know, you remind me of someone else I knew ages ago. Pleasant enough fellow, great destiny, all of that. Breath like a bantha. Oh, very funny. Is it my fault that some people are so easily annoyed? Like impatient little children with blasters. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes, Andor Vex was his name. The Force swirled around him like a hurricane. That's how great his destiny was. No, you wouldn't have. Sometimes swirling force is just swirling force. It gets us old Jedis excited at our age, so we go, ooh, destiny. Well, it turned out that poor Andor believed a wee bit too much in the infallibility of that destiny. That overconfidence turned out to be his downfall. I don't know. Are you overconfident? I hadn't noticed. Even if I had, I would never comment on it. We're talking about Andor, remember? Let's see. Oh yes, Andor's downfall. I was pretty young myself when it happened. At the time, I thought that Andor's destiny couldn't be more boring. Well, let's just say that I was a strapping young lad with a full head of hair, and Coruscant was a small town with a well. I was just about to abandon Andor to whatever the Force intended for him when his ship was overtaken by a Dimian warship. Now, you've probably never heard of the Dimians, but at the time they were a nasty lot led by a nastier overlord named Krat. Tall fellow, big teeth. Krat has us hauled onto the bridge of his ship for questioning, and that's when I knew that Andor's destiny was at hand. Of course he did. Haven't you been listening? It was not in the way you'd probably expect, though. Well, Andor decides that his destiny makes him invulnerable and starts making all sorts of demands. Free me now. I'm not answering questions. Blah, blah, blah. Don't you know who I am? Krat decides he's had enough and begins crushing Andor's neck. I told the boy he should have kept his mouth shut. I think he agreed, too, or those could have just been gurgling noises. No, well, anyway. Finally, Krat has enough of Andor and tosses him aside into this giant energy intake shaft. Andor gets sucked in and starts bouncing around, screaming. Maybe Andor hit something sensitive on the way down, or just didn't agree with the reactor core. Next thing I know, all the ship's alarms are ringing. Everyone panics, and I run, barely making it to the ship in time before the explosion. Krat dies horribly, and the Dimians never quite recovered. Changed the political course of the entire sector for centuries to come. I'd call that quite a destiny, wouldn't you? What, are you kidding? What are the odds of that happening anyway? 1 billion to 1? You should do so well as to be sucked into the engine of some evil Sith Lord, you know. Andor was a hero. Sort of. Anyway, go on. My throat is dry and you're making me cranky. Shoo! Got something on your mind, do you? Manaan's an unusual place. Not for its water, mind you. It's the Kolto, healing juice, only place where it occurs in the galaxy. And that's about all I got to say about that. Now, let's get going. Oh, I get it.
Yeah, what do you want? Waterworld's never had much of an appeal for us to conquer. They may put up a good fight in their own environment. No match for us, of course. But they don't really have anything of value, either. The thing this world is good for is a substance known as Kolto. Kolto is the single best healing substance in the galaxy. But the Mandalore are not as weak and fragile as your Republic and Sith warriors. When we enter a battle, we carry weapons powerful enough to pulverize cities. Both in our wars and in our own personal combats, there are no survivors. So Kolto does not hold the appeal it does for your peoples. Do you have anything else you want to ask? Your...
How can I help? Sorry, it's not... How can I help? Manaan is a water world inhabited by an aquatic race known as the Selkath. Their only surface city and spaceport is called Otto. It is unique in that the Selkath are firm in their neutrality. They are neither part of the Republic nor controlled by the Sith, and they wish to keep it that way. Then I suggest we move on.
You Republic people are so pathetic, sitting around groveling at the table scraps the galactic senators deign to give you. It makes me sick.
The senators work for the good of the whole galaxy, not for individual gain.
Ha! Don't make me laugh, you gutless simp. It's the destiny of weak-minded fools like you to be ruled over by the strong, like we Sith.
I'm warning you. Don't push me or you'll get just what you're asking for.
Try it. Just try it. I'd love to see you throw the first punch. And with all the cameras around, the Selkath would be all over you inside of 30 seconds. You break their laws. You pay the price, Republic scum! But I can see that you're not man enough to back up your words anyway. If you ever feel like relieving yourself of your worthless existence, feel free to come by our enclave here. We have many, many ways to fulfill your wish.
Yeah, what are you... Oh, I apologize, Master Jedi. I should not have been rude. No, really, I should apologize. I should try to control myself, as you Jedi do. Is there anything I can help you with? Well, these damn Sith are everywhere on Manaan, pushing us Republic citizens around, trying to goad us into breaking the law somewhere. Yeah, the Selkath want to maintain their neutrality in this war we're fighting with the Sith, and they enforce it very strictly. So we just have to sit here and let the Sith insult us, and we can't raise a hand against them. Otherwise, the Republic will face severe Kolto export restrictions, and that could lose us the war altogether. You're joking, right? I'm sorry, but everyone knows what Kolto is. It's the most powerful healing agent in the galaxy. I would have died several times myself if we didn't have this stuff handy. But the reason it's important here is that Kolto is only found naturally on Manaan, and all of our attempts to synthesize it have failed miserably. So, we sit here on the surface, the Selkath harvesting what Kolto bubbles up from the bottom of the ocean, and we buy it from them. Well, us and the Sith, of course. The Selkath don't want to play favorites. The Selkath think that by staying neutral, they can play both sides, selling Kolto to everyone that needs it, and making themselves too valuable to be worth conquering. Well, that, and they threaten to destroy the only natural source of Kolto on the planet if anyone tries to attack them. But I think they're underestimating the length the Sith will go to get what they want. They're probably planning something already. Is there anything else you require? A star map? Like an ancient artifact or something? No, I'm sorry, I've never heard of it. Is there anything else I can do for you? Well, for the Kolto, of course. Really, that's the only reason anyone would want to be here. It's the only reason the Selkath built Ahto City in the first place, to export Kolto. The Selkath think that by staying neutral... Well, but Is there... It's big. Real big. Actually, it's pretty much the only real city on the entire world. The only place for us air breathers, anyway. Manaan is a water world, which you may have noticed on your way down to land here, inhabited natively by a species of fish people called the Selkath. They built this city to cater to us off-worlders, and as a base of operations to export Kolto, which is the only real thing they have to trade here. Well, but I think... Is there... Of course. If you have any other questions, you should probably see Roland Wan. He's the Republic diplomat here. He's by the Republic Enclave near the visitor residences. Oh, if you don't know where that is, go north from here, then south past the port official in the first courtyard, east into the second courtyard, then north, then east again. You got that? Have a pleasant stay, Master Jedi.
Ah, so we meet again, Canderous. It has been quite a long time.
Joggy? He was a warrior under my command up to the Battle of Althir, but I thought...
You thought I was dead, didn't you? You thought all of us that you had sent on that attack had perished. You sent us to die in a foolish attack, while you directed your forces elsewhere. You broke from the battle plan and let us die for it, so that you could have the honor of being the first to kill the enemy commander.
I did what was prudent at the time. If I had not done it, the battle would have...
The battle would have been won anyway. I am tired of your excuses, Canderous. I have spent years tracking you down since the clans were banished, and I will not rest until I've had my vengeance. I challenge you, Canderous. I challenge you to fight the fight you fled that day above Althir, in the dune seas of Tatooine. I will be waiting for you. I have spread the news of the challenge since I learned you had landed on this world. All the surviving Mandalorian clans know of what I do here, and that we shall meet on Tatooine to settle this debt of vengeance once and for all. If you fail to meet me there, You shall be stripped of all honor and forever cast out of our society. It will be you and me alone in the dune seas of Tatooine. A final battle that can only end in death. I shall be waiting for you there, Canderous.
I've been given a challenge I can't ignore. We've got to go to the dune seas of Tatooine so I can find Jagi and kill him for his insult to me. This is between me and Jagi. You don't have to get involved. If you're lucky, he might spill something before I spread him in a paste over the dunes.
Carth Onesi, is that you?
Jordo?
It is you, isn't it? I knew it when I laid eyes on you. You old space dog. How've you been? I thought for sure you'd be fighting on some ship out there.
I was. I crashed.
That's pretty rich. I can't imagine what it would take to keep you on the ground. Must have something to do with your friend here, eh? How's it going? Sure am. We joined the militia together back on Telos. That was a lot of years ago, of course.
So what are you doing here, Jordo? Last time I saw you was on, Telos, actually.
Yeah, it's a shame about home. Telos still hasn't recovered. The family and I moved on, and I'm working for Zerka now. I didn't see you after... what I mean is, my condolences on your wife. I heard what happened. At least your boy made it through all right.
My boy? You mean Dustil?
Yes, of course. I saw him at my last stop on Korriban, though he didn't recognize me. You didn't know he was there?
No. Jordo, Dustil's been missing since the attack on Telos. Are you absolutely certain it was him?
Yeah, I'd recognize Dustil anywhere. Positive. He's joined the Sith, Garth.
What do you mean he's joined the Sith?
There's an academy for the Sith on Korriban. He's a student there. I saw him suited up in their outfit and everything. Sorry, I thought you knew.
No, I didn't. Well, thanks for telling me, Jordo.
Sure, no problem. Good to see you again, Carth. Hope everything works out with Dustil.
Dustil is alive. We have to go to the Korriban Academy and find him. Thank you. I just have to see him. I have to know what happened to him. All this time I thought he was... he must be a man by now. What do you need? Talk about what? The only thing I want to do right now is find Dustil. If he's alive, there's just nothing else I want to think about. I'll understand if we can't look for him right now, but if we could, it would be a huge load off my mind.
got something on your mind, dude? No, I never did I? Of course you do. I know things, remember? You think you can make it around this part of the galaxy without me? But don't answer that. At any rate, I already told you why I wanted to leave. I'd seen everything I wanted to on Kashyyyk. Time to go. Time to move on. To bed! I'm old and tired, you know. How many kilometer-high trees can you find an interest in before you figure you've had enough? I'd bet you can't be bothered to stay in one room for more than 15 minutes. And then there's all the critters in the Shadowlands. I'm just happy to be back in space, doing something new. Is that too much to ask? There. Now, was that so hard? An old man has to be allowed some petty eccentricities. Nice to see you agree for once. I'll admit, for all its flaws, Kashyyyk was home enough. But when you came along and I saw the destiny you had before you, I couldn't help but be intrigued. Of course not. Weren't you listening last time? I can see that you have a destiny before you, but the details are far from clear. In fact, everything about you that I can see is odd. Slightly off, as if my eyes are trying to trick me. Something is very dark about you. But, I'm sure you don't need to hear my ruminations. You've probably got enough nosy Jedi offering you one opinion after another to make you sick. Your future will come of its own accord, trust me. Sometimes navel-gazing at it doesn't get you anywhere. I wouldn't worry about it too much if I were you. You remind me a bit of Nomi. And that can't be all bad. Nomi Sunrider. She came late to the Force, just as you have, and became one of the greatest Jedi ever. Oh, fine lass. Whether you'll follow the same path remains to be seen. For one thing, we'll never get anywhere if you stand around chatting up old men all day. Oh, stop being such a baby. Are you always so quick to turn aside an ally? Got too many of them, do you? One thing I will say is that this little escapade does remind me a bit of my adventuring days before the war. Those were exciting times. Or at least it would remind me of those times if we didn't stand around. What's keeping you? You're too young to be so talkative. Shoo! Got something on... Manaan's an unusual place. Not for its water, mind you. It's the Kolto. Healing juice. Only place where it occurs in the galaxy. And that's about all I got to say about that. Now, let's get going.
Enough time to listen to your stories. I've got a full shipment of Kolto ready to load before my shift is over.
Hakuchi chopa. Kuyami juski chika nai. Hakuchi chopa. Hava. Uba baska dwana chichopa muska. Hakuchi chopa. Kuyami juski chika nai. Tong batoga smaktilia. Hakuchi chopa. Hava. Uba baska dwana chichopa muska.
We've got all the proper Kolto training.
Jolie, may I have a moment? There's something I wish to speak to you about.
Yep, I figured it was only a matter of time until we had the whole come back to the order discussion. Well, I guess there's no avoiding it now, so let's get it over with.
I know you have issues with the Order, but you are a Jedi, Jolie. You command the Force. Without the guidance of the Council, how can you avoid falling to the dark side?
Well, I've managed to avoid it the last 20 years or so. Besides, light side, dark side, they don't mean the same to me as they do to you. I don't see in absolutes. I want to stop Malak as much as anyone, but I don't have to join the Order to do it. Look at Karth, or Canderous. They're with us in this quest, but they aren't Jedi. The capacity for good or evil, like the Force itself, is in all living creatures. And belonging to the Jedi Order, or the Sith, or any group, won't change what you are at your core.
I see you are quite adamant. No doubt you've had ample time to think on this during your long seclusion. I guess it was foolish of me to think I could sway your position so easily.
Yeah, I'm old and stubborn. But I appreciate the effort. But from now on, you can just think of me as any other non-Jedi in our little group. With a lightsaber. And force powers.